Hello everyone. We are going to see how to use input and output and its properties in a subsystem in Simulink. So we already know how to create a subsystem in Simulink. Now, let us insert a subsystem and understand more about input and output. So I will just click on Simulink and create a blank model. Now once my model is open, I'll just insert a basic subsystem with one input and one output, which is default, and then I'll show you how to add. So as you can see this arrow, if you hover over it you can make direct connection with arrow shown, or the another way is to just type in on the screen and create annotation in In1. And a port will be added and it will be automatically numbered as 2. Similarly for out1. And as you can see again a port is added. Connect it with number 2. We can even add In1 and out1 from the library. If I go to ports and subsystems you can see In1 and out1 present. Why In1 and out1? Because these are the default numbers. But if you use it, like drag and drop, it will be renumbered to 3 as you can see it here. And same change you can see for In1 block, where every port has a unique number starting from 1. Here I've just created 3 inputs and outputs for the port. And it's 1-to-1 correlation. So this is my subsystem. And as you can see here, when I hover over this input port, I see an arrow appearing. By clicking over it, I can create automatic connections. It is a very easy way of creating a connection. Another way is to just drag a connection between 2 ports. Currently the subsystem has 3 input ports and 3 output ports. Now I have to give some input signals, also connect scope to the output. I will just create a sine wave. Sorry, this is not the one we are looking for. Let's check again. Yes, second one sine wave and I'll give it to input 1. Square wave and connect second input to square wave generator. And lastly a constant block at the third input. Constant with the value of 0.5. So that it does not interfere with my signals. So 0.5. And I will click apply. So these are my inputs to the subsystem and these are the 3 outputs. And I'll just apply a scope at the output to check how my inputs look like. And I want 3 inputs for scope. So now I have my scope block ready. I'll connect outputs to it. So as you can see this is the subsystem which I have designed. So now we know how to add input and output ports. There are 2 methods of adding input and output. Now, this is 1-to-1 correlation. I'll just run this subsystem and show you the output on the scope. Double click on the scope. You can see a sine wave, a square wave, of magnitude -1 to +1 and a constant of 0.5. Now I will click Legends. So you can see all the signal names visible in the legend. Now let me name the first signal as sine. Second as square. And third is a constant. So I will just name it as constant. Let me retype it again. Constant. So these are my 3 signals now. I will click run again. Now if I click view legends. So it should show me signal names. Yes, they are now visible. But along with subsystem name. Now if I come inside and click on any input, then port number is displayed. I can also have signal name to be displayed. Just click apply and click OK. So you can see square is displayed. If we had not named it, then some default name would be displayed. So as I have named, you can see instead of port number, the name is displayed. So if I go out and check, the port name is again displayed. And here naming is similar for out1, out2, out3. So if I go to properties and instead of port number, I will select signal name. Click apply and OK. Then here also the signal name will appear. And if I go on output and check square. So here the port name is updated. That will not change. But see here, they are displaying both subsystem as well as sine square constant. So maybe there is some property which I need to change so that only sine, square and constant is visible. So these are my outputs of the subsystem. In this example, output is equal to the input. So the properties for both input port and output port are the same. If you check for the input here, there is port number and icon displays as signal. And I can also have both. If I say both, then it will be 2 dot square. Same if I want to do this for output. Since output also has same properties as input. Usually it's only port number default one, but we can have signal name, or we can have both. Actually both is not necessary, but it's a setting given to us. So you can explore it. And if I run again, only the name will be displayed. But if you go inside, both are displayed. Now, input and output. Both exactly have same properties. Just one acts as the input port and other acts as output. So we have seen the display properties. How the icon needs to be displayed. I will change this back to port number. And here also I will change this back to port number. I didn't apply it. So there was no change. After changing, always apply and click OK. I also have to make change for the input port. As I didn't apply, so it went back to default. OK, and I'll resize it to default. OK, and I'll come back here. What if now I have to change this port number to 3? I'll change it here. What I did is I just went in here. Instead of 2 I just typed 3 and I pressed enter. So as you can see, the third input port is automatically renumbered to second. So every port has a unique number that is taken care by the Simulink. You don't have to change it manually. There will not be a port with a duplicate number or unique port with own unique number. So let's see what happens to the output. As you can see, the connections to the second and third port remains same. Only the name is altered. This is also valid for the output. The connection remains same for output. So if I run it, I should get the same output even if connections are altered. Like earlier output. Here there is no change of color as well. Why? Because the inputs have not changed, only the numbering of the ports have changed. So you can say that the display has changed and not the properties. Now what happens if I only change the input and not the output? Again, the connection remains same. As you can see here. The same inputs is passed. And only the position of the number on which they appear on the subsystem block has changed. And again if I run now, I'll get exactly the same result. So this was all about input-output ports, how to use them and renumber them. But remember, when you need renumbering, you can always renumber it inside. But at the output, you have to reorient the connection. Otherwise you will be confused with the connections. Thank you. If you have any queries you can always go to help and check. The MATLAB help is very helpful, and it will describe the use of the blocks as well. Thanks for watching the video.